Hello. Hey, y'all. Welcome. I am trying something new tonight. I'm trying to see if, okay, there we go. I know you guys have seen the fire pit area, and you're probably thinking, oh, she's going to be playing music. No, I want to have a talk. I want to talk about, well, I have adult children, and I have two adult grandchildren as well, young adults, 23 and 20. And then my youngest son is 21. So I raised two of my granddaughters, two of them. And so I'm trying to turn this down. Now, y'all know I'm new to this. Let me give it a few minutes. Let me give myself a few minutes before. Well, okay. As I was saying well, first of all, I said previously that I wanted to have an after garden hour uh, after garden hours, like we just talk. I just whatever subject come up is whatever subject come up. So I just wanted to, just talk. And as I said that I have adult children. My oldest is 43, getting ready to be 44, and my youngest is 21, just turned 21. And And then I have two grandchildren that I have three grandchildren, but two of them I raised. Um, and so it's these last three, like my youngest son and youngest those two granddaughters, those two grandchildren, they young adults. They they things are different. They're different. They're different. And um, I noticed because of the difference that I'm trying something different. Even though I'm not the girl's biological parent, I'm the grandparent, so I still, it's like I raised them, so it's like I'm their mama. So um, they're both in college. Everybody's in college. Last three's in college. Last three, I should say, not everybody. The other two are not in college, but the last three are in college. And I told my granddaughter that I was going to talk about this on a live. I told her, I'm going to talk about this um, because they, they're of age legally. I'm not responsible for decisions that they make, but, being a parent, a grandparent, a parent, you still feel like you have some input, into decisions that they make, into their life. And I mean, that's the way it was when I was growing up. I mean, uh, you your parent would they didn't they didn't hold back. You was messing up, they would they call you out. And so um, my granddaughter, one of my granddaughters, she just recently, now this was over the weekend, Saturday, she's in college and she won a car. And we've been talking about the car, and she's been looking at cars online and everything, and close to me and to where she's at. And excuse me, you know I didn't she didn't really find anything near me. And so she was talking to me on Saturday, and then she was on her way to work. She was taking an Uber, and that was one of her complaints, that I don't want to keep paying for Ubers. And she's got a part-time job, and she's making good choices for as her job, for as her college. She seemed to be doing fine. This is her second year. Um, so she's doing okay, but everybody's she in a hurry. She was in a hurry to get a car, and I'm like, well, just pray about it, just take your time, and everything, and you know just let God bring the car to you, car across your path, and the right one. You don't just want a car, you want the right one. And so um I thought we kind of left it there. As she was going to work, she was riding in the Uber, and uh, come to find out, well, She didn't leave it there. Apparently, while she had some time at work, she goes and purchased a car. She $3,300 worth of a car that she's never seen in person. She's never driven, and she send the money. I couldn't believe that when she called me when she as she was leaving work. I'm like, you did what? You bought a car, and so it is supposedly from some family member, and but she's never actually she haven't not sat in the car. She's not rode in the car. I mean, she don't she just going by pictures that the person sent her. And I'm thinking to myself like, of course I didn't think to, continue to think it to myself. You know, I was real vocal, and I, she she was feeling some kind of way after I got off the phone with her. The next day when I called her, that's when she was kind of like dry, and I was like, well, what's wrong with you? And she was like, she was kind of salty, like the way I had talked, um, but I was I was talking out, out of frustration and love, and because I didn't want her to get herself, I don't want her to lose her money. I know it's not a lot of money, but it's still, for a college student that's a lot of money. It, you know, I, but she she sent the money, and here's the kicker. I said, you don't even have license. She said, yes, but I'm going to get my license this week. And she could do that, but I just felt like, God, well, we know God is a God of order, and this is all out of order. It ain't no order to this. She's just, jumping the gun is what I felt that she was doing. Just they in a hurry to go nowhere fast. But after this situation, because I was on 10, you know, um, but after the situation, I thought about it. I thought, excuse me, like how many parents have adult children and they make decisions that we sitting back like, you know, I don't want to say the word, you know, begin with an S, but excuse me, we don't agree with the decisions that they make. They doing stuff. They doing something, and you sitting back like what? How many people? I noticed I'm not the only one that have experienced. You got have adult children, and how do you accept what you can't control? You don't. We're parents. We're okay. Mothers. We are nurturers. We fix things. We fix them. We fix the situation. You got a problem in school. We're gonna take care of this problem in school. If I gotta talk to the teacher, I gotta talk to the principal. We're gonna get this thing resolved. That's what we do. We're mothers. We're parents. We've done it for all of their life, and then all of a sudden now, because they are adults, you're no longer needed. We got this. I'm not gonna say you're no longer needed, but uh, they make their own decisions, and So how do you handle that? I'm having a problem with that. I've had a problem with the other oldest two with that, and but I didn't. The resources was not there, and I guess I was not looking for resources. I was thinking, I guess that the old way works, and you know, and I guess maybe it doesn't work. So when I did a little research, a little digging, and the first thing it said, accept what you can't control. And that is hard to accept what you can't control. Uh, they are adults. Their choices are theirs. Ooh, yeah, yeah. Their choices are theirs. Um, it's hard to hit that turn off button. Or trying to rescue or pressure or force or change often backfires. Okay. And it does. Now acceptance doesn't mean approval. It means realism. I don't approve what she did, but I have to accept she made her decision. Even though I don't want her to lose her money, but it was her decision. It was her choice. It's her money. It's not my money. It was her money. And they say keep the door open and not your hands on the wheel. Yeah, I failed that one. I didn't pass that. You know, I was trying to say, hey, can you get your money back? You haven't seen the car. And for other people, this applies in different areas, different things. You know, now we're supposed to offer advice only when asked with permission. Now they do ask, and they'll ask for me for advice, but when I give it, they don't like it. And then they start saying that it's my delivery. It's how I say it. I mean, I'm just telling you, how my perception of this situation, how I see it. And the next thing it says is you ask you by them by saying, "Do you want my thoughts or just want me to listen?" I assume when they ask me, when they start talking, that they asking me when they start talking about a situation, I assumed that they wanted my thoughts. And then now I'm finding out they don't want my thoughts. They just want me to listen. They want to be heard. They want to, and I guess I start talking and lecturing, and I thought, but you have to ask, do you want my thoughts Or do you want me to just listen? Well, another one is let natural consequences teach. This is painful to watch, but it's powerful. And it is painful. You don't want your child to get hurt, or you don't want them to be injured, or you don't want, okay, like the situation with the money. I don't want her to lose her money. I don't want her to get a lemon car. But if she do, if it doesn't turn out right, if it doesn't work out right, if it doesn't work out, I guarantee you she will never do that again. This, of course, it will teach her. But as a parent, you want, if I see you on, you on a train track, and a train is coming, first thing I'm gonna holler, get off the track, train's coming. But when you're dealing with these adult children, and you see that this gonna be a train wreck, they don't want you to tell them that it's gonna be a train wreck. They just want to figure it out. Oh, or I, let me, they, oh no, they want. I think most of the time they want, if they friends, to say, a train coming. Oh, a train coming. Oh, okay. I just said that. Well, I didn't hear you. Anyway, y'all. So, yeah, natural consequences. It says don't shield them from consequences that are not dangerous or life threatening. Now, here's one that this is started last year. Set loving boundaries. I hear this a lot. Boundaries from them. Boundaries. I ain't never heard boundaries when I was growing up. My mama was all in my business. I never heard that. That you know, maybe other families are different. I never, I never heard that. So yeah, support does not mean enabling. So I won't give money for things that will hurt you. So if it doesn't work out with this car, then I'm sorry, but I won't give money to fund a new car. Or, but but that's just the way it is. Yeah. And this one is, here it says, you're welcome here, but disrespect isn't. That's not the situation for this right here, but you know, like I said, you all, someone may be experiencing with their adult child, adult grandchild situation, you know. And here's another one: separate their choices from your identity. Their mistakes are not a report card on you. And yes, you feel that way. You feel like, what if they go out here and do something, you do. You've heard it all your life. Yeah, I heard it all my life. You know, you representing not just you, you represent your family, your parents. It's not a report card on you. It doesn't make you look like a good bad parent. And another one is good parents can have struggling children. So you could be a good parent. That if your child is struggling, doesn't mean you're not a good parent. I guess the other one, their mistakes are not a report card on you. We do and then to come back and say a good parents have struggling children. I think we beat ourselves up internally. You know, um, putting too much on ourselves, weighing, you know, letting the situations that choices that they make weigh on us. And strong faith doesn't guarantee easy paths. You know, I'm a Christian, and uh, we think, and I with my younger one, I mean my older ones, nice younger ones, my older ones. This is I was thinking, oh, I don't put them in. Uh, you don't been to Christian school and had them in a Christian school and oh yeah, I expect and then when things don't turn out a certain way, it's devastating because you're thinking that you know they're gonna you don't did all of this and surely this is how it's going to turn out this way. You have your perception of how things should turn out. Shame and self blame only drains you. Mm, yeah, their choices are their choices. They are adults. They're adults. Can't We're not gonna beat ourselves up. We shouldn't, but we shouldn't. Speak truth with love sparingly. Be calm. Be brief. Be compassionate. I guess that be brief thing, I hear, okay, now, okay, okay, okay. Because I guess I start going on and on. I don't try to, but, sometimes it happens. And number 7, oof, this, and it literally almost brought me to, well, it did bring me to tears, not almost, it brought me to tears. Pray, hope, release. Pray, hope, and release. If you are a faith centered person, pray over them, not at them. Trust that God work even when you can't see it. God is at work. And release them daily. This protects your peace. Releasing them. That doesn't mean you're giving up on them. That just means that you're putting it in God's hands where it should have been in the first place. But you're putting it in God's hands. You're allowing God to work the situation out, the circumstance out. You're putting it in God's hands. You're letting go. You're letting go of the wheel that we constantly want to drive. We want to be in control. And how do you put it in God's hands? How do you release it? How do you let it go? You start the day with just 2 or 3 minutes a day, and you say it out loud. You say, "Today I release my child from my control. Today I release my child from my control. I place them in God's care. What is mine to carry, I carry. What is not mine, I lay it down." And you leave it there. And when the thoughts return, you repeat that. This is not mine to manage. I have done my part, and I release and trust God. I release it and I trust God. You let go because God got it. God's got it. God will fix what they're doing wrong and cover them. And you pray that God cover them with wisdom and protect their life. And let truth meet them where they are. Well, I want to thank you guys. Thank you so much for this time. I pray it bless you because it blessed me. And love you guys.